Hello and welcome to Todd Talk, where insight meets inspiration. I'm your host, Todd Hiller, and I'm an author, speaker, and longtime community leader, here to guide you on a journey towards fulfillment and balance. In every episode, we'll explore ways to fill life's emptiness, helping you uncover practical tools to create harmony, purpose, and happiness. Whether it's thriving in your career, nurturing personal growth, or simply finding joy in the everyday, Todd Talk is your space for real conversations and actionable advice. So let's thrive together, personally, professionally, and beyond. This is Todd Talk, and I'm thrilled to have you here.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Todd Talk. Today, we are going to talk about pursuing what moves you, both literally and figuratively. When was the last time you chased something that truly moved you? Something that lit you up inside or physically brought you into a new chapter of your life? When was the last time? That's my question for you as we walk into this episode. And I want to share this with you because I am so excited about this. I have been thinking about this a lot over the past 2 days. The thought came to me like that, the quote, pursue what moves you, came to me. I put it in a TikTok video, and then after I posted it, I kind of got looking at it, and I was like, man, you know, what a great concept that is to pursue the things that move you, both in the figurative sense and the literal sense. So then I got the bug, and it was in my Instagram story. It was kind of all over the place. But the reason I have so much excitement for this is because pursuing your passions brings about growth and meaning and fulfillment. And what do we have if not the ability to pursue what makes us happy and find things that bring us joy and help us feel fulfilled? Because at the end of the day, that is a fantastic goal and really one of the most important ones. It doesn't matter what your job is. It doesn't matter what your house is or where your house is or what house you live in. It doesn't necessarily matter what you're doing. But if you are doing things that you find meaningful and that you get some joy out of and a sense of fulfillment out of, then that is the goal. That is the way you pursue happiness and find joy in the everyday, which is one of the main themes of this podcast, and it's such a main theme that it's in the opening credits. You know, there was a time when this podcast itself and, you know, public speaking and helping people was just an idea, but it was a passion of mine. And some days it was hard, you know, to say, well, I'm going to start a podcast. Like, how can I do that? Or I'm going to speak to people. Like, how is that going to work? Like, what does that even look like? How do I even get there? But if you have the passion in your heart and you have the idea and you follow it around for a while and you pursue the things that move you and the things that you were excited about, then I promise you can get there. And here's a couple practical tips. I want you to try new things to discover what excites you. If you are feeling stagnant or stuck, or you're saying, well, you know what, Todd, I'm listening. This is a great message. I want to pursue what moves me, but I don't know what moves me. Then pay attention to what energizes you versus what drains you. Pay attention to the things that you get super excited about and super amped up about and that you look forward to, and not just the things that you're doing in the day-to-day. And don't ignore the small things. Right? Don't ignore those small pulls that kind of tug on your heart or tug on your, you know, your pant leg like that little kid and say, excuse me, mister, or excuse me, ma'am, I have a question, or I'd like to do this, or could you help me with this? Follow those little small tugs around. And don't give up on them if you think they're just a little whisper that's passing, you know, briefly. It's okay if it's a little thing that turns into a big thing. And sometimes that is absolutely the case. And if you need a good way to track this, I want you to think of something that excites you so much that you lose track of time when you're doing it. And I know we all have these things. And listen, please don't make it scrolling social media, because I know the rabbit hole of TikTok and Instagram and scrolling can be an endless loop where time seems to vanish. But think about something practical. Think about something that you do, something you spend your time on, whether it's by yourself, and something that you do and you just, all sense of time goes right out the window and you're like, oh man, it's been 2 hours. Like I thought it'd been 20 minutes. Because those are the things that you are naturally and subconsciously so excited about that you kind of push everything else to the back of your mind. Think about something that makes you set your cell phone down for a while, because I think all of us are guilty of always having our phone in our pocket or in our hand or in our purse or, you know, right close by so we can hear it buzz or hear it beep or hear it ring. But what's something that when you get doing it, you forget you even have a cell phone? Because that right there, I promise, is a home run, because that is something so exciting and so meaningful and so powerful for you as a person that pursuing that and following it around for a little while will bring about fantastic things. And I want to stress the importance of this too. I want to make sure you are aligning your pursuits with personal values rather than chasing external validation. And that in today's world of social media and the social media climate is really, really important, because I think we all, to some degree, have found ourselves doing things that we're doing because we want to look good on social media. We want the perfect picture for our Instagram story. We want the perfect experience for our TikTok reel or our TikTok video or our Instagram reel. We want other people to think, wow, that's great. Sometimes we fall in with the crowd and we do things that other people are doing just because they're doing it. It's a trend. It's a fad. Oh my God, all the other parents in the school group that I'm friends with are doing X. Maybe I should do that too. Oh, they're all joining this group. They're all trying this restaurant. They're all, doing this diet, this exercise routine. I don't care what it is. If it doesn't align with your personal values and what's important to you, don't give in to the craving to do it. Remember that age-old quote that comparison is the thief of joy, right? You're not out to compare yourself to other people. You are out to make your life as happy and fulfilling as possible. And the way you do that is making sure that your personal values, the things that you find important, are aligned with the things you're pursuing and vice versa. If it's something that brings you an abundance of happiness and makes you smile from ear to ear and makes you lose track of time, put that on the top of the list and pursue that day after day after day. If it's something that when you approach it, you're like, oh, well, yeah, okay, I guess I'll do this for a while because everybody else is doing it. Scratch that right off the list. That will not ever bring you an abundance of joy, and that will never manifest itself into something bigger that will bring you joy on lots of different levels and continual growth, because it's just something you're kind of doing to get along or make it look like you're doing what everybody else is doing. So in the figurative sense, pursue the things that you find meaningful, that fill you up, right? Pursue the things that move you to be better. Pursue the things that move you to grow as a person. Pursue the things that move you to grow with your relationships or your friendships or within your career or within your volunteer opportunities or within your social group, whatever it is. That figurative movement, pursuing that figurative move is really important. But here's the other side of that coin. I also want you to remember that you can pursue the things that move you literally. And this means pursuing movement in the sense of transitions, physical shifts, life changes, life goals, different houses, different places to live, different socioeconomic status, different tax bracket, whatever you want to look at it. I know everybody's version of success is different. Some people want an abundance of happiness. Some people want a lot of money. Some people want a nice car. Some people want a beautiful home where they can hide from the rest of the world. Some people want to say they're killing it in their career and they've moved all the way up the corporate ladder. And none of these are any better than the other. They are all just different, and they are individual to each different person. And that's a really important thing to remember, because we as people all get to have different things that make us happy and make us feel fulfilled. But that movement that you will have, if your goal is to say, hey, I want to literally move neighborhoods. I want to move from this place to this place. I want to move from this town to this town because I want to put my kids in a different school system, in a better school system, where they're closer to their friends and family in this school system. I want to live in a town where I can volunteer more. Whatever it is, that is a literal movement in your life. You want to physically pick up your dolls and dishes and cookies and cats and kids, so to speak, and move them physically, in the literal sense. You want to move from one place to the other. And that is something you should also pursue. If you think, gosh, I would love to have a house in a different town for all this list of reasons, don't just throw it out there casually and then let it die. If that is meaningful to you, pursue it. Follow that idea around for a while. Why do I want to move there? Here's my reasons. Okay, awesome. How do I think I can get there? Make a list. Okay, amazing. Now I know what I have to do. And then set that plan in motion. Because changing careers, moving homes, starting a new chapter, leaving something behind, those are all fantastic reasons to pursue something meaningful and to set your sights on something and pursue the things that will take you to a completely different place. Like I said, literally and figuratively. And, leaving something behind is another big reason. I think that sometimes we get really wrapped up in the idea that change comes about because we're looking for something new to go towards something. But don't forget, you can also be moving because you want to get away from something. That's perfectly okay too. The old life, the old career, the old neighborhood, whatever it is, pursue the thing that will move you away from that, especially when that move is going to make you super happy. When I first started my day job as working for the state that I live in, I remember starting and thinking, in 5 or 6 years, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to work in this physical location. I don't want to do this type of work. Nothing against the people who still do that type of work. It's super important work, but that's not where I wanted to see myself. I wanted to move, and I said, I don't want to stay here, and I had that career trajectory kind of hopefully in my mind. And so in 13 or 14 months, I ended up in a different position, in a different physical location, doing something I liked a whole lot more. And then another 4 years after that, I ended up in a position that I pursued and I saw myself in. Again, changed physical locations, changed office locations, changed jobs that I'm doing, and pursued something that I really set my sights on and wanted to change. And that's not to say that I didn't like what I did. It was good. I liked the job. I applied for it after all. But setting your sights on those physical movements, they came both in with physical and literal movements and also figurative movements. I now am doing something that's more closely aligned with my skill set and more closely aligned with what I like spending my time on. But that also came about with more money and, a promotion in that sense. And, so who's going to say that more money is a bad thing necessarily, unless it's in a job you really hate, because I understand that too. But along with that also came the figurative shift of me changing what I can set my sights on, because now I have different options going forward and different options in the future because of where I am now in my job. The leap from where I first started to the quote-unquote next place I want to be in my career couldn't happen really as a one-step process. But through the couple steps I've taken, now we're closer to that end goal, because I have moved both figuratively in the sense of the career ladder, and I've also moved physically in different locations with more exposure and access to different things for the place that I work for. And along with that too, I want to remind you, I'm always going to remind you that sometimes I know growth can be scary and change can be scary. But when I moved jobs, when I changed locations, it was a brand new location. There was a lot of unknowns. There was a learning curve of learning the office atmosphere, what went on there, the who's who, the different players, the different colleagues, and all that kind of stuff. So I understand that career shifts or any change or any physical movement or any figuratively big change in – it doesn't just have to be your career. It can be your career, your personal life, your relationship, whatever it is scary. But that little bit of scary creates a whole bunch of growth on the backside of that. And that's really, really worth pursuing and really worth focusing on, because the growth at the end of the day is really important and really helps us keep going and also keep growing. Because, all right, and listen, I don't want you to fear the shift, the pivot. Don't fear the pivot, because it might be exactly what you need to pursue what really fulfills you. When I switched in my day job, that first jump I made, I got to go teach, and I got to speak in front of people, and I got to design classes, and I got to teach classes, and I got to redesign existing classes that were old and outdated. I got to introduce new training. I got to find new ways to train people. And obviously, you guys know that I love speaking to people, and I love passing on a message. I love passing on educational content. That is so near and dear to me. But I really didn't understand how much I really loved to teach and to speak until they gave me the opportunity to do it every single day in my day job. Now, I've always known that I've liked to talk to people. I liked speaking in high school. I remember being part of different programs in high school where I got to speak. I loved my public speaking classes in college. All that stuff was really great. But when they gave me the opportunity and said, all right, Hiller, here you go. You can speak to people every single day. This is what we're going to pay you to do. I was like, whole new sense of fulfillment, whole new aspect, whole new vision and mindset unlocked, because I was like, well, this is pretty cool. So I was a little nervous about the shift, about the pivot, about that change, because I'm like, well, new building, new office, longer drive, longer commute, a little bit different hours, not quite sure what I'm going to do, not really sure who I'm going to be working with. But that little bit of scary, that little bit of apprehension, hesitation gave me such forward momentum to not only keep pursuing teaching and speaking to people, but also to unlock something that feels so fulfilling to me in the world of education and passing on a message to somebody else. So don't fear the pivot. Don't worry about it. I mean, I know it's going to be scary, but focus on that because that might just be what you need to turn you a little bit and turn your focus just a little bit, and then you can lock in and hone in on what it is that really matters to you. And there is, I think also, there's an intersection of the literal and the figurative pursuit. I think that's a natural component and kind of a natural byproduct of this whole idea of your journey and pursuing your passion, because pursuing your passion often requires literal movement. Like I said, I had to change office locations and job locations more than once, but I was pursuing something meaningful that I was hopeful to gain and to achieve, but that physical or that figurative movement and that figurative achievement, that change in job, that, climbing the career ladder and shifting what I was doing for work, that little bit of pivot, that figurative move also came with a literal move. They said, listen, you can't teach from where you're currently working right now. That's not the building where that kind of stuff happens. You need to move your location. Move your desk, drive to a different place every day. So those two things, I think, are going to intersect. And not just with a career. Maybe in your relationship, you are leaving behind a terrible relationship and you are happy to start a new one. But maybe that new one means that the person you're seeing lives, 2 hours away and you don't want to drive 2 hours to see them every time. But the pursuit of happiness is the relationship because it's really beautiful and really fulfilling and really meaningful. And when you find that right relationship, you'll say, listen, I'm willing to move. If you find the right relationship that's super beautiful and the most beautiful kind of love you've ever found in your whole life, you'd be willing to move 5,000 miles to make it happen, right? So that figurative movement and that figurative pursuit comes with a literal move. And if it's the right thing that makes you passionate and happy and joyous and fulfilled and just like, oh man, this is it, brother. Like this is the whole ball game right here. This is what I've been waiting for forever. Then the literal move doesn't seem so scary anymore because along with it comes such beautiful things in that figurative movement and in that growth and in that change and in that boost in your happiness and your overall joy. Because I think life, like you've all heard, life is a journey. We're on a path. That's kind of an age-old adage. But, I think life is a journey where both the road we travel and the reason we travel matter equally. I don't think it's one or the other. I don't think that one, outshines the other one. I think they matter equally because if you embrace both of them, you can bring about internal growth and external change, both literally and figuratively. And a really easy example of this is the gym, right? Or exercising or working out. If you start an exercise regime or an exercise, routine, and you stick with it, it is physically impossible for you not to see results if you are exercising and doing things to exercise your body and build muscle and build strength every single day. And the pursuit you have internally, that internal growth, is the same. If you continually find ways to make yourself grow as a person, you read more books, you take classes, you develop yourself, you develop your skills, you pursue the things that you are good at and you find meaningful. Repetition and doing that over and over again will make you grow as a person. And as you grow as a person, that may also bring about some external change and some external movement. You may say, you know what, I've become I don't want to be here anymore. This job isn't for me, or this house isn't for me, or this relationship isn't for me, whatever it is. It's beautiful to grow. And now those are not mutually exclusive either. So it is also very possible for you to find lots of things to pursue that make you feel like you have grown as a person and you are gaining skills and becoming more intelligent or more well-read or better at your job or better at your relationship, whatever it is. You can develop yourself as a person, and sometimes you don't want to move. Sometimes you say, I don't want the physical movement. It worked out that I don't need to change offices or change houses or move my location. And I just want to develop myself. That's okay too. They don't have to always go exactly together at exactly the same time. But the other side of that coin, I think, is that when you move from place to place or you move to a new location, physical location, like with a physical movement, kind of that change and that growth and that development of you as a person comes right along with it secondhand because you are changing when you go to that new place. You have to embrace the new and you have to find new ways to adapt to your new environment. So I want you to do that. I want you to remember that pursuing what moves you means chasing meaning and allowing yourself to move physically into a new space, if that's what it calls for. And so my call to action for you today is take one small step this week towards something that moves you. Write it down, commit to it, and see what happens. Watch what happens, I should say. Not just see what happens, watch what happens. Because if you write it down and you commit to doing it, and you commit to that pursuit, change will happen. Things will come about. Like I said with exercising, if you stick to it and you keep working on it, you will absolutely see changes. The physical manifestation of your body will take shape right in front of your eyes. Your mental exercises or your character building or your personal development or your education, all that will change too as long as you stick with it. Les Brown once said, keep your commitment to your commitments. And it's super true. If you stay committed and stay focused on pursuing the things that move you, figuratively and literally, and you embrace those changes and remember that the pivot may be scary, but sometimes it's exactly what you need to get you facing and focused on in the right direction, then that's a really beautiful change to bring about. So don't be scared of it. Embrace it and be ready to do it. And I think I want to leave you with two things. I want to leave you with an idea or a quote and then one more little call to action. So if you have enjoyed this or you have a story you want to share, please, please, please come find me on social media. I am on TikTok and Instagram with the same username, Todd W. Hiller. No spaces, no underscores, no letters. And share your story with me on social media. It can be a comment on a video, it can be in a message, but I would love to hear from you all because the impact that listeners can bring back to me and saying, hey, wow, listen, this really happened to me. This is fantastic. I loved hearing about this. I want to hear that from you. I want to hear your story. I want to hear what you're pursuing. I want to hear what pursuits you have gone through and where they've brought you and how it worked out. I want to hear all the things. All right, and I'm going to leave you with this quote that we don't find meaning standing still. We find it in pursuit. Thank you so much for being here and for listening. If you've enjoyed this, please share it with someone you might think might find it helpful or enjoyable. As always, please follow along, like, subscribe, download all the fun stuff we do with podcasts. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you've enjoyed the message. Thanks for tuning in to Todd Talk. If you've liked what you've heard, please go ahead and subscribe and follow along so you don't miss any updates or new episodes. Thanks very much and enjoy the rest of your day.